Hello everyone. Now it's been like 3 weeks since I last posted on YouTube, and I'm sorry for that. I'll explain everything in a second. First I want to explain the new setting. It's actually not really new. It's I'm using my dad's car today while he uses mine. I'm in a 1969 Volkswagen bus. The camper is the specific model. It's a very interesting story of how we got it and everything like that. So if you'd like to hear that story, mention so in the comments below. I might tell it anyway. Who knows? It's not like a lot of people comment anyway. So I haven't posted in a while, mainly because the week that last time I made a video, about 3 weeks ago, I was going to post it, and then the video file was corrupted, and it was like a 10-minute video, and I really didn't want to shoot it again, and then I was like, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then that next day was just a pretty bad day in general, and I really didn't want to like do anything, and then I got really busy with work and with writing, and I just haven't made a video. So essentially what today's video is going to be about is what I wanted to make it about 3 weeks ago but didn't, and now I'm going to. So I want to explain my writing process. I've had a few questions about it on my Instagram page and in person from friends and whatnot. So yeah, so here's what happens in my writing process. Usually it starts with an idea, as most books or stories go, and those ideas kind of like crop into something else. And so like I'll have an idea, and then I'll have kind of like where I want to take that idea. And I don't do like a whole lot of planning out. I don't do a lot of storyboarding or anything like that. So once I have my idea, I think about, okay, how do I want this story to begin? And how do I want this story to end? And then I go from there. Now the beginning, if the beginning changes in my stories, it's going to be very little. Unless like I feel like it's just not a very good beginning at all, then I'll change it completely. The end, however, usually changes quite a bit. It's not necessarily because I don't like the ending. It's more because of how my writing process goes between the beginning and the end, that it changes. And it's and when my story changes, or when the ending changes, it's because the story's kind of changed. So as I'm writing, like I said, I'll kind of have my idea in my head. You know, I'll know how it begins and I know how it ends. So I know that I want to get to a certain point, and if that point kind of changes as I'm going, then so be it. But I kind of just, after that, I just sit down and I write. And I'll just kind of go one chapter at a time. So what I usually try doing is writing one chapter every day. Most of the time that works. I'll usually miss 1 or 2 days a week at max, unless I'm just like extremely busy or I go camping and I miss too many days. But those days are planned, just kind of like I would plan a vacation from work. I plan vacations from writing. Writing's a little bit hard when you're out in the woods, which is just fine, because the woods are honestly where I get a lot, if not all, of my inspiration. I love being out there in the nature. Kind of going off topic, but it is part of my writing process. Definitely going somewhere where you get inspired. But let's go back to what I was talking about. So I'll write a chapter a day, and in that chapter, I'll just kind of keep in mind, like, okay, where do I want this story to go? And if a new idea comes to me while I'm writing that chapter, then I'm like, okay, well, this messes with the ending, but maybe I can tweak it to make it work. And usually I can, and that's when I get really excited. Because like I said, I don't like doing storyboards, and I'll tell you why. And the reason why is because it makes me feel trapped. It makes me feel like I have to do it that way. And it might work out better for some people. Some people might like that, and I can definitely see the benefits to it. But for me, it's just not really what I like doing, so I refrain from it quite often. Now, of course, if I do have like an idea, or if I have something that I think would be really cool to put in the story, then I'll like write it down in my journal. I have like an idea journal, and that's where I'll put those kind of like ideas, and that's where I'll really make sure that they kind of get written, so that I don't forget them. And sometimes I don't even need to write them down, just because they're such a great idea, and I'll just like write it then and there. Anyway, so like I said, like I was talking about before, the woods really inspire me, the mountains really inspire me. So I try and go out there at least once a month. I like going out a lot more often. And whether I'm just going on a hike or whether I'm taking some time off and actually going on like a small camping trip, then that can be really, I mean, either way, it's honestly really, it's honestly really relaxing to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of life, and to be able to really see like what's out there and like what inspires me. I love being able to do that, and like just seeing how nature works, seeing how how one stream flows into another or whatever can really just kind of get me going in the inspiration, right? Anyway, once I have all my story written, so I write a chapter a day, right? And I just go from beginning to end, kind of non-stop. Once I get all that written, what I'll do after that is I like to take the next month or so, and then do the same thing, a chapter a day, sometimes more, depending on how much time or energy I have, and just going through it and making sure everything is edited, making sure that there's not a lot of plot holes, and then once I have like a good amount of chapters edited, then that's when I'll start my beta reading process. And the main process of like this editing process is not really like getting all the grammar issues out of there, although I do pay attention to that, but the main thing is to like flesh it out, make sure there's enough information for everybody there, for my readers there, I mean, and to make sure that that everything just looks good. And then once I have about 10 or 15 chapters, then I'll send it out to my beta readers, and so that they can start reading it from there, and I can make changes along the way according to their comments. I don't go in and mess too much with that chapter that they're reading that day, and I'll kind of talk about how I do beta readers in a different video. But basically what I'll do is I'll send them a chapter a day, and then they'll read it, or a chapter at a time, and they'll read it and then give me feedback, and that's essentially it. And like I said, I'll make changes here and there according to their feedback, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make changes completely to their complete changes to the story quite yet. Mostly because that's just not like what I'm about to go and do. And so so while they're beta reading, I'm still editing, and then by the time I'm done editing, they're like still in the middle of the book. So I can go back through and then start basically adding their ideas or their feedback to the book where I see it's necessary. There may be some things that I just disagree with, that I think, no, like this needs to be this way because of this, And that's okay. Like, you can definitely disagree with people, and you can definitely agree with people. And I think that that's really important to kind of have that mentality, especially with agreeing with people, especially when they're kind of like heavier on the critique, because when you get too attached to like to your story, like sometimes that doesn't mean it's a good thing. I mean, it's definitely a good thing that you want to get that story out there, but it doesn't mean like that everything that you write is phenomenal and amazing. It's more important that the readers are going to enjoy it, because that's who you're writing it for, is the readers and your future fans and whoever, and that's what's really important. So if you feel like at some point that whatever you're writing isn't good, read through it a little bit, see if you can like manage to salvage it at all, and then if you can't, select all and hit that delete button. I promise you, it's a little hard at first, but I promise you, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the better you'll feel knowing that you just wrote a bunch of crap that no one's ever gonna read. And that's a good feeling, because no one wants to read crap. So anyway, once I'm done with my beta reading section, then that's when I'll send it to an editor. We'll go back and forth and take our notes and everything like that, and then we'll and then I'll get it published. This is going to be my first time publishing when I publish The Faith, so I'm going to be publishing it on CreateSpace via Amazon, and I'm really looking forward to this process. I mean, there's like a whole lot more into that process alone, but as far as the writing process goes, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But yeah, I mean, like, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, just definitely let me know in the comments, or if you guys want any other kinds of videos made, let me know. I definitely have, I mean, like, I can tell you guys stories or whatever. My most popular video right now has a whole 12 views, so look out. It's just a short, like, 5-minute video about this story that happened to me a few weeks ago, that I was a part of, and it was just a funny little story. And so if you guys like those kinds of stories, let me know, and I can post more of those. And if not, then okay, I'll just keep making these videos. Yeah, that's all I really got for you guys. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe and comment down below. If you have, like I said, if you have any questions, or if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.